It's a spot where I can kind of see it.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Pops.
Hey, hey, everybody. What's going on out there in the world? Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Change Your Mind, Change Your Thinking. I am your host, Troy Skinner, and next to me is my amazing, phenomenal, awesome co-host.
I appreciate that. Antonio Dean.
Yes, sir. The man with the plan and that devilish smile. So, yes, guys, tonight we have a great topic we're going to be talking about. First off, I want to set off by saying thank you to everyone who has been tuning in, everyone who has either donated and or had something really great to say about us, whether they left messages in regards to what's going on at Alpha Studios, Son of a Gun, what's going on. We are greatly appreciative of it. This is show 25.
Show 25.
And we are just getting started, man. And we love coming every Tuesday and Thursday to you guys to discuss what's going on in mental health and society and different things that we talk about, all of our topics.
Especially as it applies to the black community.
Absolutely. And Antonio and I was talking, actually, I think it was last week, on how odd it is that all of our shows interconnect. I don't think it's odd. I'm just saying it for most people, they would look at it as odd.
It's interesting.
It's very interesting.
But it's all black-centric. So they should kind of
connect,
mesh up and you know. And we got a lot of things too. Even some of the shows we didn't even really have enough time to really get into things the way that we wanted to. So at some point, a lot of those subjects will be revisited. You know, part two and probably part 3, 4, or 5. Just depends on the reception of them.
Yeah, listen, we don't mind criticism. I mean, that's kind of what we want. We want you guys to be a part of the process of what we got going on. That's why we created the show. And like I said, we don't mind criticism. We had somebody say, you know, they totally disagree with something that you said. I think it was 2 weeks ago.
You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it.
Well, it wasn't actually one person. It was several people. One left a real serious message, and that's fine because we want you guys to take note of that because once those topics resurge or come back up, we want you to speak up. We want you to call in. We want you to DM. We want you to do all kinds of things in order to have your perspective because that's what Change Your Mind, Change Your Thinking is all about. If you hadn't realized, CMCT means Change Your Mind, Change Your Thinking. And so the real topic was the slavery thing. So I've been doing my research, and I actually took some of the names of the people you had talked about. And I'm looking at things, and, you know, I sent you something. I know you saw it. I don't know if you watched it yet, but I sent you. It was a
or
link.
Where,
yeah.
rather.
We'll talk about
Okay.
it. But,
you know, I don't be checking my messages if you know me.
It's all good. It's all good. But we,
you
know,
let me know.
We will have that, and more than likely, like I said, starting in January, we'll start having guests. So within the next 2 weeks, I think we'll be gearing up to have that format ready for that. Big shout out to our guy who is going to be coming on board. We'll tell you exactly what's going on with what we have as far as our format is concerned, the things that we are doing to build our brand and to help us with our marketing.
Correct.
Yes. So before we get started, wanted to tell you guys that again this week, like last week, it was Thanksgiving, so we did our show on Wednesday. We'll be doing our show again this week on Wednesday. My grandmama passed away. If you haven't seen it on my
Social
Instagram
media.
page, yes, on social media, I don't really talk too much about death and when people pass in my family. I'm very, very private about my family. Sometimes I do share stuff on the show, but yeah, she passed away. It was very peaceful. We knew it was happening and it was coming. And so I have to go and pay my respects and take my mom to be there and to handle things. So that's going to be on Thursday. So tomorrow we will be streaming live our normal time, which is 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Tomorrow.
We'll be doing an afternoon drink, right? Or okay.
Yeah, we should do it earlier in
Okay,
the day
gotcha.
like last time.
Yeah.
So like 2 or 3.
Yeah, 3:00 it was last time, wasn't it? 3?
It was 2.
2? Okay, so tomorrow we will be streaming here at 2 p.m. And it will be 11 a.m.
Pacific
time, Pacific Standard Time. So if you're able to join with us, that's fine. Come on in and join with us. All of our shows are recorded. Even though we are streaming, our shows are recorded, so you can at any time catch up with what we have topic-wise.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Is that everything, or?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
As far as things that are, coming down the pipeline, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. All right, your turn.
My turn?
Your turn.
Wow, what a transition.
That was a good segue this time.
Well, since it's my turn, I'm fairly personable, if you get to know me. Not many people do. But for those who are aiming to build such a connection, establish some sort of faction with us, you can reach out to us on our Instagram at CMCT_show. We also have a Facebook at CMCT Show. We're also live on Facebook the same days that we're live on Instagram and YouTube. And that's at my personal Facebook page at Antonio Dean Smith IV. You don't have to friend me. All the lives are public. So go there and watch if you'd like, if it's more convenient for you. Also, we're live on YouTube right now at CMCT_show. Find us there, start subscribing, liking, sharing, so that we can move over from Instagram and really put this this Rodecaster Pro 2, start using it to its full potential. Because Instagram, you don't really get to hear nice sounds, and you know what I'm saying? So help us out. Start getting ready to migrate over to YouTube so we can really turn this show into a full-on production. Bring you guys some high-quality content. Nextly, we have a Twitter. It'll be used unless your boy does that $20 subscription or whatever the fuck is going on. Because I tell you right now, baby, we will not be paying for nobody's social media, nigga. It ain't gonna happen. All right. But in the event that does not happen and we can continue to maintain our presence on Twitter, you can find us at CMCT_show on Twitter. Nextly, more privately.
Okay.
More personable.
Okay.
More intimate.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? If you wanted to email us with show topics, ideas, questions, sponsorships, business proposals, opportunities, features. What do they call those? Those are features, right?
Features,
We go, maybe have you come on our show. We'll come on your show. It'll be real sticky, whatever. You can find us or email us all of those different things at cmctshow@gmail.com. Again, that is cmctshow@gmail.com. Next, TikTok. We're on there. We even posted a video. A funny video. It's comedy. Because that's what, funny... I won't explain it, but it's there at CMCT_show on TikTok. Go ahead, go like, share, and or what is it? Yeah, like, share, and follow us on TikTok. Mm-hmm. Let's get the rounds going on that clip. It's a pretty good clip. Now, the most important part of this for me, because these lights that you see behind us flashing periodically, typically to the tone of our voices, the cadence of our voices even.
Okay.
We got to keep those on, regardless of how fucking hot they are, behind our heads, and in this room in general. You can find us on Linktree at CMCT_show. And on that Linktree, we have a tipping option. We also have a few other payment options. PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. Send us money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We got options on there. But on a serious note, it just it helps us a lot for anyone who would like to see the show to continue in this fashion and see us on an uptrend. Keeping these bills paid. This building is expensive, but we're making it work. So we'd like to continue to bring you guys good quality content. and continue these shows offering perspective, you know, in the places where the Black community doesn't necessarily get to break these things down and you know, and process our emotions and thoughts together. So it definitely helps if you go to our link tree at CMCT_show. Tip us, please and thank you.
Yes.
It greatly helps. We also are offering 3 services right now. The first of those is a $20 option. And for $20, we will send you a personalized 2-minute video. All up to you. When you go onto the Linktree page, it lets you type in the description box exactly what it is that you'd like us to talk about directly to you, or if you're requesting the video for someone else. You think that our words are powerful enough, that our diction is stable enough to go ahead and offer someone some good advice or motivation, just let us know. And that's $20 for a 2-minute personalized video. All up to you. We're also offering venting consultations because we're not therapists or psychologists and we don't want lawsuits. So we're offering venting.
You ain't getting nothing anyway.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We're offering venting consultations at $59 an hour right now during the holiday season. January 1st, we're going back to the normal rate, which is at $100 an hour. Please book.
Yeah, take advantage of it.
We're more than willing to be a good virtual ear. You know what I'm saying? We can eat lunch over FaceTime, whatever, and it'll be very personable. But more importantly, we're gonna do our absolute best to help you get down to the nitty gritty of whatever it is that you're going through, and hopefully find you a solution.
Yeah.
You know, a reasonable solution. Lastly, we're offering pre-recorded interviews here on the channel. We will interview you for about 20 minutes. The reason why it's pre-recorded is so that we can do some good post editing and processing and dress that interview up to look exactly how you want it, whatever visual effects you'd like applied or anything of that nature. We got you covered, and that'll be for $75 for a 20-minute pre-recorded interview geared towards exactly whatever you want. No Vlad TV slickness. We're not gonna get you caught up and have you on here telling on yourself. Just helping you promote your brand and promote yourself. You know, so we can all get on here and make it together. So again, that's on our link tree at CMCT_show. Yeah. Now, lastly, my brother has an Instagram, and that is at Darkan2000, DARKAN, the number 2000. At DARKAN 2000. He also has a Twitter. You can find him on Twitter, twisting,
twatting.
You know what I'm saying? doing all sorts of things, twisting and
Brandon.
tweaking on Twitter. And that's it, Darkan ENT, DARKANENT. My Instagram. Some of you are currently here watching me live on my Instagram. Some of you are not. And still, for the both of you, that is at _dosage. You can also find me on my music page at _MA. I'll be dropping another music project here on Christmas Eve.
Look at that.
Right before the start of the new year. So
Look at that.
definitely be on the lookout for that. Haven't picked a name yet, but the songs are coming together quite well. My brother Draco is wild. If you find him on Instagram, he's an excellent producer. So reach out to that man if you need affordable but passionate music production. And I believe that does it for me.
Yeah. Great job, Antonio.
Thanks.
Great job. Super duper. So, with that being behind us and we're moving forward, guys, once again, thank you for tuning in with us. We greatly appreciate it. We know that there's a lot of things you could be doing tonight, but you are here with us, and we are grateful for that. Tonight's topic is about friendship and why am I drawing a blank on that? Obligation. Maybe because I don't like it. But friendship.
It's not rolling off the tongue. But,
no, obviously it's not.
True friendship and obligations.
Yeah, I guess
obligations and true friendships.
But if you have true friendship, it's nothing obligated. It's what you want to do, right? Pretty much, rather than an obligation.
Well, there's an easy way to answer that.
Okay.
Why don't we get definitive really quick?
There we go. Y'all know the program. You know what we do. So
let's go ahead and hit Google. They starting with us again. Hold on. I got this. Yeah, why don't we go ahead and hit Google and get a good definition. I done forgot how to do this shit again. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Paraphrasing tool. Yep.
All right.
Perfect. So, what was the word? Obligation.
Obligation. And not only is he a wordsmith, he's very good at spelling.
So let's see. Obligation. An act or course of action to which a person is morally or legally bound. A duty or commitment. I have an obligation to look after her. The condition of being morally or legally bound to do something. A debt of gratitude for a service or favor. Debt of gratitude. I like that. I like the phrasing there. And then for law, a binding agreement, committing a person to a payment or other action. I think that's not going to be where we're sitting at today. We'll pull up the Merriam-Webster really quick, just for some cross-referencing. Obligation, the action of obligating oneself to a course of action as by a promise or vow. Something such as a formal contract, a promise, or the demands of conscience or custom that obligates one to a course of action. A debt security, such as mortgage or corporate bond. We're going to skip those. A commitment, as by a government, to pay a particular sum of money. A condition or feeling of being obligated. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. A debt of gratitude, something one is bound to do. Duty, responsibility. And then lastly, we got to check out Wikipedia.
For all the Wikipedias.
They always, oh yes, they didn't make me type it in this time. Good shit. So let's see. They're trying to get us to donate to Wikipedia, and I do like Wikipedia, but we need donations, nigga. So, you know what I'm saying? Wikipedia, wait your turn. Let's see. An obligation is a course of action that someone is required to take, whether legal or moral. Obligations are constraints. They limit freedom. People who are under obligations may choose to freely act under obligations. Obligation exists when there is a choice to do what is morally good and what is morally unacceptable. There are also obligations in other normative contexts, such as obligations of etiquette, social obligations, religious, and possibly in terms of politics, where obligations are requirements which must be fulfilled. These are generally legal obligations which can incur a penalty for non-fulfillment, although certain people are obligated to carry out certain actions for other reasons as well, whether as a tradition or for social reasons. Obligations vary from person to person. For example, a person holding a political office will generally have far more obligations than an average adult citizen, who themselves will have more obligations than a child. Obligations are generally granted in return for an increase in an individual's rights or power, which is really just more responsibility, but nice way to word that, I suppose. You think that's good enough?
That's great.
Great. Our obligation, we might have to come back and read obligation and morality. But we're going to break that down. Yeah, we'll break that down. Read it now, or?
No,
we can come back to it.
Yeah, we can come back to it.
So.
That was a mouthful.
Yes, it was. But I think it was pretty cut and dry.
It has to be, so that way people can understand it in the basic layman's term.
You get to choose whether or not you want to be, moral.
Moral?
Or whether you want to be morally sound.
Well, I'm obligated to thank Stefan. Stefan from VDV Visions. Stefan was the one that did that clip that you guys saw today, and he's going to do another one for Antonio. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow. Make sure you share and subscribe and share those types of videos, because that helps us a lot with the algorithm. But in that respect, thank you so much, Stefan. I am obligated, if that's the way we're looking at it.
Yeah, no,
to thank you for what you've done.
Not only did he provide a service, man, he did it because he's seen something in what it is that we're doing.
Yeah.
So there's love in that.
Oh yeah, that was very flattering. Anytime someone reaches out to you, man, you should always take it as flattery, even if it's something,
mundane, whatever.
Or Okay, so I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
You were on a roll, so let me let you get back on it.
I done forgot. Nah, we're looking to break down. So what is it that we're accepting as obligation for are we saying as it applies to friendship, or just as it applies to morality in general?
Yeah, let's just keep it for friendship, since friendship is one of the main topics tonight.
Okay. In which case?
But I think it's going to cross into morality, because the moral obligation of a child taking care of a parent in their older age. Primarily, it's a thing of, I would say, human instinct, but not for everyone. So it leans into biblical moral obligation.
I would agree.
And but go ahead. I'm sorry. We need to get
so really quick
for clarity.
We're gonna read the definition of friendship, just so we're working with definitives here tonight.
Yeah.
Not what you feel something means, not what you think something means. Based on the actual definitions of the terms, we will be discussing all that follows. Okay. And hopefully tearing down some of the fallacies associated therein.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So, friendship. The emotions or conduct of friends, the state of being friends, a relationship between friends, a state of mutual trust and support between allied nations. That's interesting. That applies to political, the political world. Interesting. Let's see Wikipedia. Free redirect. Nope, we don't want to donate, Wiki. Thanks for asking. Friendship is a relationship of mutual affection between people. It is a stronger form of interpersonal bond than an acquaintance or an association, such as a classmate, neighbor, coworker, or colleague. In some cultures, the concept of friendship is restricted to a small number of very deep relationships. In others, such as the U.S. and Canada, a person could have many friends, plus perhaps a more intense relationship with one or two people, who may be called good friends or best friends. Other colloquial terms include besties or best friends, forever, BFFs. Although there are many forms of friendship, some of which may vary from place to place, certain characteristics are present in many such bonds. Such features include choosing to be with one another, enjoying the time spent together, and being able to engage in a positive and supportive role to one another. Sometimes friends are distinguished from family, as in the saying friends and family, and sometimes from lovers, lovers and friends. Although the line is blurred with friends with benefits, the friend zone is a place where someone is restricted from rising up to the status of lover. So, I see this is a little bit convoluted. Let's look really quick just at friend in general.
What is a friend?
Yeah, what is a friend?
I hope you guys are following us, because once we get into discussion, there'll be some clarity. Shout out to you, JDS Artistry.
Okay.
Lady Muse, welcome, welcome.
Here we go.
Moika, welcome.
So, friend, a person whom one knows and with whom one has a bond of mutual affection, typically exclusive of sexual or family relations. A member of the Religious Society of Friends, a Quaker. They do remember that. Verb, to friend someone. Yeah, we won't read the verb. Merriam-Webster, let's read that really quick. Friends, one attached to another by affection or esteem.
Interesting.
One that is not hostile. One that is of the same nation, party, or group. One that favors or promotes something such as a charity. A favored companion. A member of a Christian sect that stresses inner light, rejects sacraments and an ordained ministry, and opposes war. A Quaker. A person included in a list of one's designated connections. Interesting. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So then really quick, let's just see what Wikipedia says, and we can finally get this baby off the ground. What a weird way to have
Well, I don't think that's
Wikipedia page.
It says
Shit, Wiktionary.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're gonna talk about. That's about right. We'll read that one. A person, typically someone other than a family member, spouse, or lover whose company one enjoys and towards whom one feels affection.
Okay. All right. So are we clear on this, guys? Everybody's just watching.
I think it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, on the definitions of what it is
To be obligated
and friend.
Friends and friendships.
Yeah. Just this weekend, shout out to Daphne McGarrett Clark and to Janessa A. Morgan. Janessa A. Morgan and Daphne are good friends. They met through my acting studio, Breaking Through Acting workshop. And, you know, it's funny to see someone donate a lot of their time as a friend. And, you know, Daphne went into the hospital for a specific reason. She spoke about it on her page, so it's not like it's privileged information, but I don't want to discuss it here. But she went in this weekend, and Janessa stayed by her side the whole time. She just checked out today. A couple hours ago, but from the whole time she went into the hospital to today, Janessa was in the hospital with Daphne. Now you talk about friendship.
That's friendship,
and that's what I'm saying. You know, so the question becomes: was she obligated as a friend to stay by her side? That's the question.
That's a choice of hers, or is the question based on society?
So you think we set up our own obligations, pretty much?
Yeah.
Okay.
You definitely. It's because it's the same as a commitment, nearly. You know, you decide how much you are committing to someone. Now, also, we would have to know within their friendship, what has Daphne done for Janessa that she would feel obligated?
Okay, so I think we need to get to the root of it all. Is being obligated a good thing, though? Is that something?
Is it like imaginary pressure?
Yeah,
Is
bro.
it an emotional tax?
Well, listen. Listen. This man next to me is. Oh man, I'm on the precipice of crying because of my grandmama, but I'm always like that when it comes to people who I care about. I've had many friendships in my life. You know, I tend to understand, like, there was maybe 15 years ago when I stopped using friends for acquaintances and for associates. I started noticing the difference. This person.
You're saying in your rhetoric, in your language. Okay.
This person's a friend. This person's an acquaintance. I don't call everybody friends. And the reason why is because if you're my friend, I love you. If you're not my friend, you're an acquaintance, I care about you. I want the best for you, but that deep, profound love that I have for people,
I may not be fully committed to seeing you through those things.
It's not,
I'm not obligated. I will help you through those things within reason. I think that's a better way to put it for someone, because I know you not to be selfish. So not even that you're not willing to see them through those things, it's within reason. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I'll be there for anyone if I can within reason. Yeah.
Meaning if his foot is cut off, you know what I'm saying? He might, let the man excuse him while he's patching it up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm with an average person and someone comes in and just starts to go at that person, I'm going to,
we're going to help you out.
That's who I am. You know, I always say, I call that the superhero syndrome. Yeah. You know, Superman complex. You know, I'm not going to just let someone be victimized. Not at all. It's not happening. But the difference between friend and family, and because I don't confuse the two. I don't get caught up in the blood is everything. I don't do that. I've had people in my life who were friends who've done more for me than family. So this whole thing of obligation, anything that I do for people, I don't feel obligated. And if I feel obligated, then I know right off the bat that that's not a good friendship. So
you're saying when you feel obligated, you feel more so like you owe the person.
Yep. And that's not, for me, that's not good. If I do, it's because this person is a friend and I love them and I want what's best for them. I'm not obligated because it takes all the joy out of being a great friend. My opinion.
So I want to clarify out loud, because I think what he's getting at is a lot of us get to a place with others where we feel as though if we don't pay them back or reciprocate in some fashion, that we might lose that person. But not because that's what's on our heart, because we think that that's what's on their heart.
Or what's needed to be done, because that becomes a pressure.
To keep this going.
Yes. I gotta do this. But why? Because anytime it's like what we're taught about giving. If you give and don't receive,
you
don't
give
expect
because
back.
that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, and for me, it's like I can tell you guys now, just even on air and live, I do for this man because I choose to, not because he's done for me. Because there's a point where I feel like, okay, Listen, this is what happens. It can be easily become a crutch to lean on people.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, I know I can lean on this person and they'll be there. To me, you're taking advantage of that person.
I agree.
And it's a point where you have to say to yourself, you got to pull your bootstraps up and do for yourself. Now, if that friend chooses to help, then they choose to help. But for you to assume, well, we
that
friends,
because they're friends and you know what they may or may not have, that they're
horrible,
obligated.
man.
So that's called entitlement.
It is, and we talked about that in our very first show about being used.
That's entitlement. I had to tell someone last night, man. Someone close to me. I don't give loans. I just give.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm giving, don't put whatever weight it is that you're going through with past experiences with other friends or whatever. Don't put that on me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't approach me with the same what is the word? The baggage.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even though a lot of us may go into new come into new friendships, just like we come into relationships with old baggage and we ruin the new relationship.
Oh, that's horrible.
You could be insulting to someone who really is just
being genuine.
They're being genuine. They're there for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So don't let your ignorance of what something good looks like. Don't let your ignorance ruin that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So obligation to me becomes a pressure. Now, if you have to question the relationship, if you feel like you're catching yourself be obligated, I got to pay them back.
They bought me lunch last week. If I don't buy them lunch,
Excuse me, yeah.
Do you feel guilty because you're actually using them, or do you feel guilty because you've experienced something like this in the past? Like where's the obligation or the burden of obligation? Where is that coming from on a person?
Mm. Are you asking?
Yeah, I'm asking that.
I think a lot of people, and I've said this many times before, a lot of people don't know what it is to be a true friend. I think
to be a true friend, and then what about? Is that coupled with they don't know what it is to be a true friend, and they also don't know how to recognize
absolutely
a true friend,
yep,
or how to treat a true friend,
yep. I believe that friendship is something that should be taught. Because you go out in the world and you fall on your face enough to figure it out. Some people never figure it out. I've met people who were in their 60s and 70s and couldn't be good friends to other people. And you're just sitting there and you're watching this and you're like, is this actually happening?
Yeah.
And I think it starts at home. I think how we treat other people is how we're taught. You know, the way we're taught is how we treat other people. When we go out in the world and the dynamic that we learn, especially if you have big families like big brothers and sisters, or just all sisters or all brothers.
Yeah, your family is your first test case for relationships.
Mm-hmm. And then when you get into school, you know, it's a limited amount of time, so you can treat people a certain way. And then when you get home, you're like, well, my family's here, so you know, this is who I really care about. But like I said, for me, especially living out in LA for 23 years, the people that came to my rescue a lot were close friends who are still to this day close friends of mine, and people who have looked out for me and didn't like you said ask back. There have been times where they'd even ask back, and I remember one lady I knew who was a client at LA Fitness, and I was doing really, really bad, and she was more of an acquaintance. She wasn't really a friend, but she saw that I was doing bad, and she kind of like left the door open for me to ask for money.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I knew she was the type of person when you get that money, she's gonna hold it over your head, because it was like, nobody ever pays me back, and
it's a control mechanism.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, do I really? How you doing, Pion? Do I really want to go down that road? Well, I was desperate. I needed the money, and she gave it to me. And she was like, well, look, if you pay me back or not, it's whatever. Because most people don't pay me back. And I was like, You know what?
So just say whether or not you want me to pay you back.
Yeah, but I didn't
There's
care.
really no middle ground.
Because I knew I was going to pay her back. And I did it. I won the Wheel of Fortune. I came and I gave her a check.
I know you on Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, I was on the Wheel of Fortune, man. $13,654.
You a funny ass nigga, man.
Hey, I did what I had to do. What's going on, Shad? I did what I had to do, man. In
This
LA.
nigga was on Wheel of Fortune.
And it's funny because
I
I
gotta
always
find that.
Oh yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was pure comedy too, bro. It was pure comedy.
I gotta go find that. That's funny.
So, but I paid her that money back gleefully.
Of course.
Ripped that check out. It was a Denzel movement.
Because sometimes, and I forget exactly what the wording was, but it's when people see and treat you as something that you're not, you don't necessarily show them who you are, but you continue to be who you are. And at some point they see that. Was that essentially
Her?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
That was that situation.
Yeah, it blew her mind. It blew her mind.
Because she had no reason not to trust you just because she couldn't trust others.
Yeah, but listen, I've learned, and we had that show, we talked about judgment.
Yeah.
I've learned that with wisdom, you have to have that understanding. And it's like, okay, you can analyze it quick, right? Some of us have the power and the gift of discernment. We can analyze stuff really quick. We can read stuff really quick. And we know whether someone's genuine or not. It's those ones that have a long plan that we don't realize this person been planning for a while to get me. You know what I mean? Or we ignore the signs. But with most people, that genuine energy, we know I want to be this person's friend. They have qualities that I respect, and this is somebody I want to share time with, and I want to grow and build with, because I'm all about growing and building. And for me, at this age where I'm at now, whereas before you made friends blindly.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do that, and they get hurt by that. And then they don't know who to count on or to quote unquote trust. So to add to what you're saying, I absolutely believe that that's the issue for a lot of people. And it was for her. It was like, okay, he's a cool guy, but I've given people money before because they know I got it and they ask and they don't give it back. And I don't know whether that was family for her or boyfriends in her life.
It could have been anything.
It could have been anything. But I knew what I wanted to do.
I need this. And that's why I'm asking.
Okay, and then she kept the door open. I asked, but the next step for me was I'm gonna pay you back because that's me. I'm gonna find a way to pay you back. And Wheel of Fortune was there, and I just boom, And so I think a lot of times it depends on if you are genuinely a giving person. Some people are very giving. You're very giving, and it's like It's weird sometimes when you meet people who are just genuinely giving.
Without ulterior motives.
No ulterior motives. No, I'm going to get you in the end. No long play. And so I think, like I said, it goes back to a lot of people just don't know what it is to be a friend. They don't know what friendship is. They don't know how to attain that. They've never been taught it. Some people want it. Genuine friendship, I've met guys that be like, man, I really just want a good male friend, right? My best friend and I, Farley, I know I sound like Oprah.
I'm about to send you the question real quick. You heard me?
Yeah.
I'm about to send you the question.
Got you. He when we met, he was always like, I prayed to God for a good friend, and I found you. And it always used to bring me close to tears. And we went through many ups and downs together, and we're always there. I always tell people, the last day I see you is like the first day. Ain't nothing changed.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing changed. You should be able a good friendship. You should be able to. She said, "Truth. Wheel of Fortune was both of your blessings." You're right. It was. A good friendship. You should be able to not see that person, bump into them, or pick up, and everything's okay. A great friendship. You should be able to see that person and almost be in tears because, it's like, man, things are about to be great. That's that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like,
you guys don't even have to think about anything. Nothing had to be planned.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? And And I think that's part of that. I think we get to that aspect of that once we realize that there are things that we have to analyze in ourselves. But like I said, people need to be taught what it is to be a good friend. They need to know, are you capable of being a great friend? But most people don't tell nobody nothing. And so you could sit there and watch people be friends, and you could see. Well, see, we're a little different though.
A little bit.
We're a little different because we just got in somebody's ass recently about, hey, that's not a good friendship.
Just some silly shit, But that is also ideally what I believe friendship is supposed to be.
In the sense of, for clarity for them, friendship should be.
Are you fucking up right now?
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you have that relationship?
Are you going to accept it?
Yeah, or are you going to be offended by it because it hurts your feelings? Mm-hmm.
Or are you going to know that I have absolute love for you, so much so that I refuse to watch you blindly make this mistake?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's not something that I think the average human is not properly they're not properly equipped to deal with that sort of relationship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A little bit too much truth involved.
Yeah. I told this to somebody one time. I never forget this. It was a Bojuka student. I'm not going to mention their name. Mm-hmm. But it was many years ago. I told this to them. I said, I would lose a friendship over someone not being all of who they are.
I agree.
And they looked at me because they were hitting the bag, and they stopped. They looked at me. They was like, that's the craziest shit I've ever heard. That's stupid. And went back to hit the bag, and I said, I'm just saying.
That's about what I was saying the other night, right? Are you, right now in this moment, what do you actually mean?
Mm-hmm.
Before we move forward with, well, fuck you because you did X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm.
Before we do that, nigga, are we still finna go eat dinner after this? Or we still see each other's families after this? Mm-hmm. And, can we go back to regularly scheduled programming after this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can. I just want to make sure that you're saying what you actually mean before we go on.
Mm-hmm.
Because people get a little bit too much or too caught up in emotions, so much so that they lose sight of what's actually in jeopardy in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
What's up in the balance, and if it's true friendship, it should never be in the balance.
No, not at all. And I think a lot of times people gauge their friendship based on the things they do and the things they have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a lot of times when you look at people and they're questioning a relationship, I say treat all relationships the same. Obviously, you can't have sex with your friend unless that's friends with benefits.
If that's what y'all doing.
That's what y'all doing. But that redefines the relationship.
Does it?
In a
or
sense.
Do the people define it? The individuals involved define it.
Well, that's the mind.
I'm not gonna say who.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say who.
Yeah.
But the circle of elders that I come from.
Okay.
They were all social.
Okay.
Maybe not everyone with one another, but social for the most part.
Okay.
And they still maintained the absolute essence of their friendships over the years with one another. None of the humanly desires got in the way of the actual friendships as it applied to them, family members, the children involved. Was never an issue.
Yeah, some people are able to do that because of, like I said, I think a lot of times if the environment you're in prepares you to be able to have that type of relationship, then I don't see that as being a problem. Because sometimes, that type of intimacy is a one-time thing. You know what I mean? People be like, well, y'all friends, y'all shouldn't be doing that.
Well, maybe that's how they found out they're not going to do that.
Right, and maybe it started at that, and then they became friends.
Correct.
Right? So I think a lot of times...
Which is a high level of maturity, by the way.
It's a huge level of maturity.
If you know how to do that and you have that level of heightened discernment, never lose it. Lean on that, regardless of the people who you'll come across and doubt your decision making. I wanted to.
You're right. I'm glad you did because I'm pretty sure there's people.
I've been called crazy. You know, I'm friends with some exes, man, and it just
of course.
it's because we became family. You know, we lived this life once, man, and then not to throw all my business out there, but you know, I don't have very many blood family members left, so I was fortunate enough that when I did have blood family members alive, they were very adamant about family is family, blood or not. Has this person been family to you? You know, a little bit deeper. We're putting a little bit of a deeper connotation on what friendships are with that.
Okay.
You know, I have cousins, brothers, nieces, nephews, uncles, aunts. We're nowhere near related.
Right.
But we related.
Right.
You know.
Do you feel so? Going back to obligation, obviously, guys, if you're watching, you're catching us. We're talking about friendship and obligation, and we're going back and forth between the two. But do you feel, say for instance, you have friends or quote unquote family in regards to the obligation thing. How do you feel when you're not able to provide for them? Is that something?
Provide in what way?
Well,
just reciprocate, or
if there's something that they need, if you know. Because I know you personally, so I know you're the type where it's like, what do you need? If I can do it, you got it. You know.
I will, and I have broken my back. Not literally broken my back. For those who don't know, but yeah, I'll overextend myself for anyone that I care about.
Right. You know? Is there a point where you get to this thing of saying, okay, well, and what is that?
I said, look, this took maybe this took longer than a day. Maybe this took longer than, you know, a week, but I'm letting you know. I'll always follow up and let them know, hey, I haven't gotten to it yet. But know, and this is my grandpa used to say. I think it's an old phrase in general, but somebody out there that loves your ass, man. You know, and when I have people close to me, and whatever it is that they're going through, and I said, hey, I'll look into it. I'll figure something out. You know, it may not be the solution that you want, but notice somebody, you know, a lot of people pray, a lot of people hope, and all of those things. But, you know, I consider that doing the actual work, you know. And when I was in the military, when I was working with different, you know, different agencies, you know, the free time that I had, I don't care how I needed to fit it in. I fit it in. You know, for the people that I cared about. Yeah. So to me, there was no there was nothing to feel other than this is what's needed. Let me do it.
Yeah, clear, very clear.
You know,
very clear.
For me,
true friendship.
That's and that was how I was raised.
Yeah,
is to be that way.
For the least of what you have is to
even when we're angry at each other, upset at one another. You know, maybe we hadn't been talking. I've seen that plenty of times amongst my elders, the people I grew up around, and you know, don't let shit hit the fan, because everybody's calling everybody, and you show up because that's what you mean. I don't give a fuck if I didn't talk to you for 10 years. You know, you still, whatever our disagreement was, you know, we being pig-headed or whatever, but when it all comes down to it. Hey, look, man. I seen my mom, you know, do it a few times. You know, I need you to watch my kids for a minute, or her taking in other people's kids, motherfuckers that she wasn't fucking with for whatever reason. You know, it just the sincerity has to be absolute.
Yeah, I think sincerity is definitely separate from obligation, because you can be obligated and not be sincere.
You can be obligated and not communicating at all, not interacting at all.
Yeah.
Until it's time to.
Yeah. Shout out T Rizzy. Joe Moten said, I'm grateful to be friends with myself, and I'm obligated to myself only. All right. To consistently be genuine and true to my heart. Well, that's very true. Joe, you're an amazing friend. I can give you the mad love that you deserve.
That sounds like the basis for, if you can't help yourself, how can you help others?
Yeah, what you've been telling me for the last month. And listen, How do you know someone's a great friend? Is you G Rose? He's not watching right now, but I have an older friend. His name is G Rose, and I hear his voice.
Yeah.
Brian Bloom, I hear his voice. McKinley Freeman, I hear his voice. I hear your voice daily about specific things. And when you have real good friends, right? And remember, you don't have to have. I think people get in trouble because they feel like they got to have a shitload of friends.
Yeah.
I learned this very early when I had a birthday party and I invited kids and they didn't show up.
It's where they say, like, you like the one that likes you, not the one that you want.
Right, and because the one that you want more than likely is not going to be there for you. So, I learned very early on, and my god brother and I, we were talking. He was one of my best friends in childhood, all the way up to teenagers, just like Mark Cunningham. These people who, man, shit. I mean, all these years later, we still talking, man. Still talking. You know what I'm saying? That, you get a joy, when you see your friends. I revel in joy when I see Jones Yejinde or, you or,
Likewise.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like listen, when I've heard people go, I ain't in the mood to be around them. Let me tell you something. Anytime you find yourself saying something like that, that relationship is strained. It's not as good as you think it is anymore. It's strained. Whenever you feel like I ain't got the energy for that person, think of all the different phrases that people say, and you look at them, you go, did they just say that? You know what I mean? Like, I ain't putting up with them right now. It's like, whoa. That's when I started realizing I don't think people truly know what good friendship is or how to truly be friends. They think they do. They think they
do you think that's an extreme way to measure that?
Nah, because you hear it a lot, bro. I hear it a lot from people, and I just think that they cross the line. They get the wires crossed with what an acquaintance is.
Oh, you're saying rather than an actual friend,
dude?
Because I know friends need time apart too.
Well, that's different. And listen, it's a good show tonight. I hope y'all learning. Let me tell you something. When me as a friend, like those people who I love, who are my friends, okay, my true friends, okay, because I don't have friends that are acquaintances. I'm very clear on who my true friends are. If I'm going through it, you will know I'm going through it, okay. And not only will you know I'm going through it, I will communicate with you on whether through text or whether I'm not.
I don't have time right now.
We've been there. Yeah. We've been there, and that was part of me understanding that listen. Having great friendship starts with you. It doesn't start with the other person.
Yeah, the burden is definitely on you.
Yeah, and when you get two people of like mind,
bridging the same gap,
it will work. It's when people feel like, well, they're not being a good friend to me. That privilege you talked about. That's the problem. A lot of you guys out there feel like your friends have to be above and beyond for you, but you ain't got to have that communication of being above and beyond for them. And no one's saying that it's... I think I told you one time that my boy Jones Yejinde and Daphne, they're big on birthdays. Yeah. I'm not. But there are people who, when my birthday comes around, they want to do something for me because they love me, not because. But there is a point where we will always kind of top each other. You know what I mean? Like, got you. And it's a joy. It's a joy, man. It's like, when you care about somebody, and one of the things that I've learned, true friendship, and you can watch this and you'll see it. Your true friend will pay attention to you enough that if they do engage in buying you gifts, they will buy exactly what you need, want, or desire.
Or something that will actually intrigue you.
Absolutely.
Maybe you weren't even thinking about it, but it was still right on the money.
Right on the money. My boy Austin Uku and I, I'm not sure he watched. He was watching the other day. Yeah, Austin.
I still owe him some damn videos. I just ain't got to it yet.
Yeah, you'll get it.
Eventually.
Austin, we talked last night actually, and I got really angry at him one time. like really pissed off at him, man. And it was almost to a point I was just like, you know what, I don't think I'm gonna fuck with you, right? And Austin is very, very observant. He's very wise. He's very observant. And he knew I was pissed off at him because he was going through some stuff. So, you know, he didn't recognize what I had did in that moment, and it hurt me, right? So the little bitch in me came out like, no, you know. And so he fucked me up one day because he showed up, and it's still on my wall to this day. Like it moved with me from LA to Georgia, and it's on my wall. He came with this Prince art that this guy only made like 25 of them. And cause he came and it was wrapped and he gave it to me. He was like, I just want you to have this, right? And I looked at him because he knew I was pissed. And I opened it up and it had that thing and it's like it's a collage that makes Prince, but it's all the other photos of Prince in that collage. It's on my wall.
That's hard.
And I started crying because I was just like, boy, I said, you knew you was on one foot out the grave and out the door, boy. But he made up for it. And that to me.
And it was about the thoughtful.
Yes, man. Listen, we could have sat and talked and I'd have probably still had a certain frame of mind. But in that moment, he was letting me know, I know you.
He knows who you are.
Yeah. He was like, I know you. And I know you're upset, so I'm letting you know you can kill all of that. I ain't going nowhere. And man, that brought us even closer. And so you will have those strains.
I think he gave me an interview damn near at the Cheesecake Factory because he talked to me for damn near 2 hours after everybody had left, man. And help, you know, right there in the parking lot and shit when we just met and all of that. I think that was an interview for you, damn there, man.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, love that man. I love him.
He's a really good dude.
He is, and you know that's the thing. I think that people need to start. I wouldn't say comparing because comparing is wrong. I think if I say, oh, well, you're like this person.
Well, but you analyze and you evaluate. You know, you have to weigh things.
Yes,
that's what the sermon is all about.
Jones said, yes, it is a good show tonight. Too bad some folks don't understand the difference between friends and acquaintances. Well, a lot of people think that their friends are, or think their acquaintances are friends. And that, because listen, some people hold family so high that you can be a great friend and you will never pierce.
They'll still hold their family members above you because it's blood. And
even if they treat them like shit.
That's unfortunate. I've experienced that quite a few times in relationships and friendships.
No, listen. When you feel like you are obligated in a friendship to do things for that person that you're in a friendship with, you have to start questioning yourself on, do you truly understand friendship? Jesus said the greatest thing that a friend can do is lay down his life for another. And when I started understanding that, because like I said, if you with me and you my boy or you my lady friend and we friends, ain't nobody putting a hand that at least that I can do. Like the money thing, I'm up and down lately, but somebody, you know what I'm saying? Well, can you come and do? And you know, look, real good friends also kind of take note about. Well, I already know you busy, so I ain't want to bother you with this. You know, I ain't want to bother you with this. But deep down inside, you know, even if that was a bother, you could still come. That's real friendship. That's real friendship. Like, because I tell people all the time, like, if I'm your friend, I'm going to be there regardless. I may hate having to do what I'm doing. That's not a grudge. I'm not begrudgingly doing it. I'm just like, I would rather be doing this, but you know what? It doesn't matter.
Because I got you.
Because I got you. And I want you to know that. The true friend wants you to know that you got someone there, man. That's the gift of true friendship. And I think, and listen, I didn't learn that from my family.
Like what?
Well, right. Well,
it's up and down.
Some things.
I got a lot of good qualities.
Yeah. I mean, you know, listen, one of the things that I did learn from mom, if you watch mom, is people around her would never be hungry or not have a place to lay their head.
Likewise.
That's the base. And what I learned outside of my family life, going out into the world, especially in being in the entertainment industry and stuff. You know, I had a lot of misses and hits, and but mostly the misses taught me when I missed thinking, oh, this is going to be a good friendship, and it ends up souring. What I learned from that was that you take people at their word and deed. Right, you know, because people can look at you and tell you in one moment, "Oh, I love you and I care about you," but their deeds are not matching up with it. But that was something that I hadn't learned, and I learned when I got out. I'm like, wait a minute, this person saying one thing, but they doing something totally different. What's going on? Is it me? You know, and my boy Mike Graham, he talks about it all the time.
Damn, is that the first hour already?
Man.
Right on the dime, too.
All right.
Well, hell. Welcome to the second hour. I guess I will take off my fucking coat. Shit. That first hour passed real quick.
Man, I'm loving this topic. I'm loving it.
Excuse the dead silence, everyone.
It wasn't dead. It was all jacket sound.
Yeah, it was all jacket. You know, $30 jacket. Looks good, though. You know what I'm saying? But take this moment and be friends to us. Maybe don't necessarily feel obligated, but assess your morals and say, have these two gentlemen offered me valuable perspective? And if we have, if you could find it within your moral compass, to follow us on Instagram at CMCT_show, then go ahead and do that. Because it's free. All you got to do is type in CMCT_show and hit the follow button. You could also, if you have the Facebook application, or maybe you want to go into the browser and type in facebook.com and go to their search box and type in CMCT show and follow us on Facebook. Maybe you feel like that's not enough and you want to do a little more. Do something really impactful. Like go to our YouTube page at CMCT_show and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Maybe you want to like a couple of our live videos or our posted videos. Maybe you want to share a few of those. Get the algorithm rolling so we could all migrate over there and stop doing this Instagram thing. Although it is fun. I do enjoy Instagram. But we are looking to move towards a bigger platform. So maybe if you all are feeling that in your heart and you've looked at your moral compass and it leads you down that path, include our Twitter in that. You know what I'm saying? At CMCT_show on Twitter. Now, maybe you feel like all this following and subscribing and sharing and all of these things weren't enough. Maybe you wanted to go deep, get personal, hit the bottom even. Maybe you want to email us and type us up a personal message.
Yeah.
A long, wordy email, expressive of all your thoughts and emotions and feelings, of how we've helped you potentially, or how our perspective has altered your life in some way or another. Or maybe even you just want to send us show ideas, topics. Mm-hmm. Maybe you want to let us know about some sponsorship opportunities that we're oblivious to. Mm-hmm. Maybe you want to let us know about some grants and so forth.
Yes.
And if that is something that's on your heart because you checked your moral compass after having this discussion about obligations and friendships, well, go ahead and email us at cmctshow@gmail.com. Again, that is cmctshow@gmail.com. Shout out to my boy Walt Knows Money. He is in the house. Good man. Excellent authority on private banking, by the way. So eventually we're going to do the finance show, bro.
Yes, we are.
Yes, sir. If you go ahead and hit me up in my messages. We'll talk about it. Did I say anything about TikTok?
No.
Well, if TikTok
Hey, Scott.
You know, for some reason you have a pacemaker
Adam.
and your heart is ticking
Hey, Natasha.
and you want to donate the last bit of your love to us, go ahead and follow us on our TikTok at CMCT_show. And more importantly, Linktree. If you go to linktree.com, find the search box somewhere near the bottom of the page, type in CMCT_show, where you will find our tip box. You will find our Cash App information. You will find our Venmo, our PayPal, and so forth. Leave us anything that you can, whatever you find on your heart to help us keep these lights on, keep the air going on up in here where it's hot, in this small room that's padded. You know, help us continue to deliver you this beautiful content. And lastly, just from our Linktree page, again, at CMCT_show, we are offering 3 different services. You can get a personalized video for $20. It is a 2-minute video, all up to your choosing. To include, if you wanted us to make the video for someone else, maybe you think that our words can help move them in some fashion or another. Go ahead. That's the first option of the services that we offer. Our second option that we offer is a venting consultation, because we are not therapists, psychologists, licensed to do any of those things. However, we are here to provide you with some sort of additional perspective and maybe even guidance. And hopefully we can help you through whatever it is that you're going through, you know, in an effective manner, and help you to find a solution. And that venting consultation starts right now during the holiday season at $59 an hour. And after January 1st, we'll be going back to $100 an hour. So go ahead and book a session.
Take advantage.
Take advantage of it now. Lastly, our third option, the services that we're offering interviews, pre-recorded interviews to be exact. Pre-recorded so that you get full control over how it is that you and your brand are presented to the world. We're not looking to get you caught up in any sound bites or anything crazy like that. Many different editing options on the post-production. We'll go over it all, and it will not be posted until you are absolutely happy with it. And that's a $75 fee for a pre-recorded interview of 20 minutes. Now, and finally, these get a bit windy. My brother has an Instagram at Darkon2000. That is DARKAN, the number 2000. He also has a Twitter where he is
Twixton.
doing all kind of stuff with teas on there. You know what I'm saying?
Just a slut for teas.
Tractoring, transactions.
Twixtering.
He's got so many different types of transactions. You never know what you might get. But to find out, add him or follow him on Twitter at DarkonENT. That is DARKANENT. And lastly, my Instagram. Some of you are already here. And that is at _dosage, DOSAGE. I also have a music page on Instagram at _MA. I'll be dropping a beautiful music project on Christmas Eve this year. Myself and producer, engineer, Draco is Wild. You can find him on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, guys, please take advantage of all of that and help us out. Keep us alive. Keep us moving. Big shout out to you, Scott. You are a friend, and you know I love you, man.
Hello,
and
Scott.
big shout out to Derek Dominique, man. At the final hour coming in with
Also
the
a good
football
man.
Oh man, bro, I was like, what am I gonna do with this music, man? And he came in and he nailed it to the cross for me, bro. So friendship. Let me ask you a question about friendship. Like,
Okay.
Should you seek out the friends that you want, or should you allow just friendships to happen? What is your opinion on that?
I think that you put yourself out there, and everything that comes to you, good or bad, is meant for you to experience.
Interesting.
I don't know if religion is real or any of that shit, But I do know that everything that we go through is so that in the future, when we cross paths with someone who hasn't experienced it yet, we have something to offer them, perspective-wise, and guidance.
Okay, form of providence in a sense. Yeah, for me, I did receive a lot of that. I mean, you heard me speak to somebody who I hadn't spoken to in years. We were sitting here, Mike Arvold, who, when I was going through my music career in LA, he was a man that taught me a lot of things. And you remember how our conversation went, when we were talking and stuff, just catching up. I could go hang out with that guy and laugh like it's nothing. I would consider him a friend. He was beyond an acquaintance at that time when I had no friends in Los Angeles. Yeah. He was a very decent man, and we shared a lot of laughs. Should it always be ups, friendship? Should it always be ups? There's some downs.
Yeah, well, because we're human. We'll never not be human. That's an unrealistic expectation, just as with relationships. What
about people who argue all the time? Is that a real friendship, do you think?
Why not?
Okay. That's how they activate?
Could be.
Because you and I, we don't activate in that.
No,
it
but
doesn't work for us.
There are people who maybe there are people who enjoy having
the arguments.
Whether the arguments are fake or real. And then they can still go and sit down and have a beer together or whatever.
Kind of like the ones where they can slip and do something and then okay.
And then perhaps all of that arguing and shit, whatever, that could mean nothing. But the moment I call on you and you show up, that's what matters the most.
Yeah, I've seen those relationships.
Yeah. My dad and his friend Roy, they did time together, and man, cuss each other the fuck out all day long. Both, mechanics.
Harlem Night type.
Just
life with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. 100%. Craig, not Craig. Goddamn, what are their names in the movie, man? Clyde and
anybody remember?
Come on, man. The movie Life. Eddie and Martin.
Life,
Clyde and Ray.
Clyde and Ray.
Damn near exactly like that.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that one time.
Got each other's back.
Right.
100% got each other's back. That's the dynamic.
That's the dynamic, and that's how they work and activate. So here at Change Your Mind, Change Your Thinking, we're always big on helping people understand a different perspective than what their perspective may be in the moment. So let's talk about how we can have enriched friendships, because I think that's something that a lot of people watching. Before we can do that, man, because we got to be careful of time. Yeah, before we can do that, 15. let's because I don't think we've established what is a toxic friendship or what is a friendship that people should steer away from. Is that something that we should be able to help people understand?
I think it's pretty simple, man. Someone who you can't call, or when you do call,
they got an excuse.
They don't show up. Like maybe they do show up, but they don't actually give their all to ensure that you are okay the way that you need.
So that would lean more towards obligation. They're more obligated. I'll show up. I'll be there. And, do the least.
But why are they there?
Right. They do
to show least. Just to maintain it so that they can still get what they want later.
Did you ever get to a point where you realized that wasn't a good friendship?
Where I was being used?
Well, not so much being used, because sometimes we talk...
Or being taken advantage of in a sense? Or
not even, just you realize that they weren't the friend for you.
They weren't to me what I was to them.
Or
what I expected.
As a friend.
Yeah, I've had that. I've had that a few times.
It took time for you to recognize it, or?
Well, yeah. And for me, it's just because I'm already always just giving.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I'm that way to a lot of people until they give me a reason not to be. And unfortunately, more people have given me a reason not to be than people who've given me reason to continue.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, it like in all relationships, I always say I treat all relationships the same. I mean, obviously, if you're in a romantic relationship, there's a sexual aspect and component. But I think a lot of times in friendships, people, just like in relationships, look to groom that other person into being the friendship maybe that they've had in the past with someone, or that they feel that this person can be, which is
they expect that person to have the same standards that they have.
And
And
that's
really,
not
you
fair.
can only expect them to be who they are.
It's not fair. You can only take people for
Claude, not Clyde. It was Claude. Claude and Ray.
Yeah, you can only take that person for who they are when they bring themselves to you. So listen, let me tell you something. There's always something that I say, and then Eric Moore, who the Green Eye Bandit, who we love to death. He's an amazing friend.
He is.
We love him to death. We don't judge him by his age, you know.
Not at all.
He's youngin, but he's a great friend,
He's
man. Very astute for his age, and but period, you know. But one of the things I always tell him is like, look, man, I say I will never judge you. The only thing that I got an issue with is if you mess with kids and animals. Other than that, we good. You know, you like getting slapped around or slapping others around, that's your business. You like being in the swing, getting whipped. I ain't judging you, man. You like it, I love it. This is something that my boy Michael Thompson, my Christian brother, who I love dearly, he's an amazing friend as well. Yeah, and if you ain't already know, I'm shouting out everybody I possibly can. Shout out to you, Shaw Ross. Hopefully you're watching. If you're watching, I love you. She's an amazing friend. That's my manager. Over a period of time, sometimes people can become great friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even in business, like we talked about in the romantic sense.
It turns into something that you didn't even realize was happening.
Man, I knew, you know, and guys, I'm going to tell you about this guy, man. I think this is the show to talk about this. Like, when I first met this cat, man, we was working martial arts together. I saw him spar, and I knew, I was like, man, he can mollywop most of the cats in here, man. Like, what is he doing? Why is he holding back and not giving everything he got? Because I know he should. And, you know, this is all my perspective as me being, you know, Sifu. And I went up to him afterwards because I've never been afraid or fearful of approaching people and dropping a little bit of love if I can in that moment, if it's going to be received. And I told him, I said, man, you're amazing. Like, dude, do you know how dope you are? And he looked at me, and he, you know, I don't know if anyone ever said anything like that to you, but the look that you gave me was like, what? Who was this? And okay, well, thank you. Because you always say that. Well, thank you. You guys, if y'all know he gave me, well, thank you. He gave me that very astute, well, thank you. And it was genuine. I knew it was genuine. I knew he wasn't brushing me off. And then, you know, he hit me up and said, yo, I'd like to do some training, blah, blah, blah. He said, what's your race, blah, blah, blah. He trained with me. That's not when we became friends. Because I don't become friends all the time with people I train or study with.
Not at all.
The day that you became my friend, okay, I can't speak for you when I became your friend, but the day that you became my friend was I had a screening, and Joan, you know, hey, Jesse, it was a screening for my film, A New Life, in Los Angeles. And I was telling him, yeah, you know, when we were training here in Georgia, I was telling him, I said, yeah, I got to go to L.A. because I have a screening going. And he's like, oh, word, really? Oh, okay. And he said, well, let me know about it, and I'll come. And I just looked like, you're going to be all the way over in, you know, say someplace else. You're not thinking about coming to my screening. And I gave him the information. Initially, you're supposed to have been riding with your brother. Right?
Yeah, but
Yeah, okay. I remember
he fucked that up so much. I was in his ass that day. Boy.
And when you said that, I was like, well, I said he's got to drive.
Oh no, I left his ass.
Right.
When I was telling you that, I had already left his ass.
No, but in my mind, because at that time I'm getting all these different calls from people, and you had said that you know, and I was just like, oh, he definitely not coming because he's got to drive. You guys, I'm not even gonna get into how far the distance was, but I was like, he's got to drive to come. So I'm in a hotel room, and I get a call from this guy. And he was like, I'm in L.A. I was like, he actually came. And he was like, do you need anything? And I was like, well, actually, I had forgot my cufflinks. Mm-hmm. So I was like, do you have an extra set of cufflinks? He's like, I got you. So it wasn't even an hour and a half, 2 hours later, he shows up with 2 pairs of cufflinks. And he goes, which ones do you need? And I was like, this one. He was like, those are yours. And I was like, what? I was like, this guy, first off, he drove all this way, not flew in. He drove all this way to come to my screening. There's no obligation. There's nothing, other than him having a great time by seeing and meeting people. But he's here. And then he gives me cufflinks. I was like, what the hell? I was like, yeah, this is the beginning of a great friendship. I said, it doesn't get any better than that. And it's not because he gave me anything, or it's not even because he came. It was the level of integrity that I had not seen pretty much in anybody I knew at that moment. And I was like, I want to be around this. This is how you build. This is a phenomenal energy. This is powerful. Like, why wouldn't anybody want this around them? And so that's the day I know that we became friends for me. That's the day I knew I wanted to know this guy forever. And I've had that feeling several times in my life. You know what I mean? But in this experience, that was like, okay. And it's been, like a married couple. It's been great since. It's been great since. He said, yes, he got you. Yes, he does got me, a brother who wants to see you prosper. He does. And you guys, we can't even get into everything, but these past few years have been pretty much some of the worst years of my life. This year has been probably the hardest. Even the next day, he stayed and came to. I received an award from Pachanda Dubose. Shout out to you, Pachanda. And when Pachanda called my mom up to the podium to bless her and congratulate her, and it was this guy that helped my mom up to the stage. Him and I think was it Jonesy? It might have been Jonesy. It's you and two, yeah. I think it was Jonesy that helped up to the stage. So, for me, friendship is not so much about just what you do for each other. It's the joy you receive. I can go and man, how long was it that we sat and talked the other day?
Oh shit!
Place was almost closed.
At Bonefish, yeah, it was closed already. I think we were in there while they were cleaning, man. So I'm surprised they didn't put us out. Honestly,
they just saw we relaxed and enjoying ourselves. It was a great meal. Thank you, Antonio. If you've ever been out with him, he takes you to the best spots. And this guy, man, I love this guy, man. But anyway, enough about me. What do you think people should look for in friendship? Because, like I said, I don't think people are taught correctly about friendship. I don't think they're taught it correctly. I think, like I said, they have family here, even if family treats them like shit, and they have friendship here. Some people put friendship here and family here. What do you think people should look for in a friend, honestly?
So, in the Air Force, I forget even what it's called. The 3-something. It's like the code, the Air Force code, basically the creed. Not the creed, but our code. Code of conduct or some shit. I forget exactly what it's called because I didn't care about the Air Force. However, I did get a few things from the Air Force, and the 3 things that they focus on is integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Mm-hmm. The integrity first and service before self, I think, are really important. Rather than service before self, it's like you said, what Jesus said. What is what is the statement?
A friend should be willing to lay their life down.
A friend should be willing to lay their life down for you.
That's the greatest love. That's the greatest thing you can do.
So instead of service before self, there's friendship before yourself. Mm-hmm. How much do you actually care about this other person? Mm-hmm. Is there a way to test to see how much someone cares about you? No, not necessarily.
Mm-hmm. And that's horrible. But, let's speak on that real quick.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you get back to it, but that's horrible to do, to test people.
Yeah,
that's horrible. That's a horrible.
For some reason, that's not a genuine friend-like thing to do. Mm-mm. You can't test people. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Just like them in the martial arts, you say teach and they will come. So be the friend that you're gonna be to that person, and if they show up, they show up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna show up, show up. Mm-hmm. And that's I think that is the integrity first, friendship before self.
Yeah, and I think because, like I said, people aren't taught how to be friends. A lot of people don't have integrity, so they don't even know how to bring that forward first.
And and I want to say too, you know, the friendship before self, it's scary because people deal with the same thing in relationships, man. And number one, of course, you got to help yourself before you can help others. But once you know that you're good, everything else should be easy. I know that I can put you before myself because while I'm doing so, ain't nobody about to come jump on my back or, you know what I'm saying? I know that you're going to handle the balance, you know? And I don't have a lot of friends like that.
No, it's a rare thing to find. Lady Muse said, my friends are my chosen family, and they know that most definitely. Yeah, it's
Correct.
a thing of, you know, good friends around you. Because listen, even in friendship, when people who are friends have relationships, your friends know whether that person is good for you or not. Whether they say something or they don't, and whether you listen or you don't. Your friends know certain things that you don't know and you don't see. And true friendship is based on that. And so for me, it's a thing of saying, okay, that works with friendship as well. Someone telling you, man, that's not a good friend. You know, that's not a good friend. And it's up to you to know if that person is being genuine or not about telling you about somebody, because they know, like me as a friend, I know what I'm, it's kind of like, you know, when I tell my guys, I'm always like, yo, the chick you need to be able to do more than me. And they look at me and they go, what that mean? And I'm like, as a friend, I'm doing the base. This is someone that you're romantically involved with. You know,
They should really be hitting on all cylinders.
Yes, they got to bring it, because that's what love is. Love is sacrifice, and if,
it's a duty. It's an everyday thing. You don't get to take a break from it.
No, and it's just, and listen, if it's true love, like love, it's effortless.
Yeah.
Love is not something
doesn't feel like a job.
It's not a job. You don't have to do something begrudgingly. You're not, like I said, that's why in the very beginning of the show, I was like, I don't ever feel like I have to be obligated to do something. I don't feel that way about my friendships.
No.
And if I do, then they're not friends. I had to understand that clarity. If I feel begrudging,
if you feel obligated in some sense, or that you owe, it's more of a transaction.
And we saw that in the definition.
Yeah.
So I think what we're helping you guys to understand is that you should, what you said, evaluate, right?
Yeah, evaluate, analyze everything. You know, and it's not bad to sit back and assess. You know, sometimes you go over notes, and if this is someone who you've been interacting with for an extended period of time, and you've sat back and you've taken notes and you said, well, I didn't like this. You know, what they did was confusing to me. Maybe I didn't trust this too well. You know, also be mature enough to go and sit down with them and say, these are my notes.
Okay, so let's harp on that, because I think that's where people are going to, because communication is so key. It's so key, bro. Yeah. So please, let's harp on that. Let's give us some more on that, what you're, you know.
You should be able to sit down and afford one another the opportunity to fully comprehend what it is that the other is feeling and thinking before everything is completely shut down. I think that's absolutely imperative. You know, you can't say that you were once friends or there was a friendship and neither one of you have anything to say to the other. You know, if you got to let the steam blow over, let the steam blow over. But again, the burden is still on you to say, this meant something to me. Am I right in still wanting to go forth and be? You know, you have to do the work to so that you're fair to what the friendship was, or however it was that you perceived it, so that it doesn't just go away in vain. I think that you owe not even the other person, not even yourself, but the friendship itself. You owe the union that.
Hey, Alex, let me ask you a question, because I've been faced with this before, and it was basically, you know, who I am as a person and what I give as a friend. I wasn't paying attention that it wasn't being reciprocated. It wasn't being reciprocal. It wasn't being reciprocated.
That's because you weren't looking for anything.
I wasn't, but there were people around me saying that person's not a good friend. What do you do in that situation? Because I'm pretty sure there's people listening and watching right now who
probably got somebody in their life that they shouldn't trust.
Yeah, and everyone else is telling them because but listen, it was a long time a supposed friendship, and finally I started hearing because I saw, like I said, the word indeed. I saw the actions of the individual, and I was like, maybe these people are right.
You see how they react when you change the password to your Netflix. That's how you do it. I'm fucking around. Don't do that. That's stupid.
Did you change the password?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There is no all-encompassing test, man, to figure out, what is this person actually to me?
Should they be more as far as other people telling them? Should they be more aware?
Just be more mindful.
More mindful. Mm-hmm.
There's never anything wrong with having some sort of audit in place as it concerns your own peace. You should definitely have some sort of audit in place that you periodically go through to say, is this contributing to my peace, or is it detrimental to my peace?
Good point. We can write into this. Alex Hampton said, I have a question. What do you do when your friend doesn't reach out to you when that friend knows you're going through something alone?
I would say don't speculate.
Mm-hmm.
And for me and you, we can't really speculate because that friend may be nervous about interacting with. They might be allowing you some space.
Mm-hmm.
They may not be negligently or maliciously keeping their distance.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they know not to come to you until you let them know that you're ready.
Yes.
You need if you're in a situation like that. This is the same as the male and female relationship in its purest form. There's no way in hell I can know everything you're thinking, chick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We've all, if you're a man and you spent your life dating women, you know about those moments. Well, how come you didn't just know? Well, listen,
yeah,
I'm not fucking psychic.
Right,
man.
Communicate.
So I think it's unfair to expect your friend to be psychic. Whether you know that they know or whatever it is that you've thought up in your head, the burden is on you to go and say, look, this is what I'm going through. And then if they say that they don't care,
right,
let it be that.
Right.
But don't have this expectation out in thin air, and neither of you have even spoken to one another.
Right.
That doesn't even make sense.
So I'm gonna piggyback off of what you're saying. So the point is, if you've already addressed this before and it's a continuous action or it's a repeatable sense of action.
Well, I think he was just saying that they're going through something.
Yeah, well, no, he's talking about himself.
Yeah.
Right?
One individual's going through something and the other person knows, but they don't say anything to you to try to help you get through it.
But you're right about what you said.
You need to talk to them.
It's the communication. But if what I'm saying is if it's a repeatable thing, if say for instance it happened and you say, hey, I really needed you, like, you know what I'm saying? I got. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I give you a prime example. The way I deal with death, a lot of my friends know. They know, and some of them, like, I just had someone that said, "Well, you need to tell me. Like, why did I find out on Instagram or Facebook?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't." Like, I don't really pick the phone up, but that's how they activate. And so with that person, I'm making the adjustment to, okay, yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Because I value your friendship. And if that's who you are, I don't have a problem doing that with you. But the reason why I don't talk about it is because I don't deal with death that way. I just don't. Yeah. So some people are cognizant and aware to know, hey, this is how they dealt with it last time. So I know that's how they deal with it.
Well, great example. Me, I waited till I seen you in person.
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
mm-hmm.
And left it at that.
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know.
Right. And I respected that, and it was awesome because it was like, as a friend, you were there.
Yeah,
and,
we had that talk. Yeah.
And so, Alex, hopefully that's answering your question. That you knows you're going through something alone. If you're going through it alone, are they a new friend? Because some new friends don't know.
Well, don't treat someone like a psychic.
I agree.
That's the
I
number
agree
one.
100%. Yeah. Don't assume that they will.
You know, just like you're going through something, maybe they're also going through something.
True. So
now neither one of you is acknowledging the other. It could have completely not even been an afterthought, but just not been at the forefront of their mind. You know, and again, that puts the burden on you to say, hey, look, you know, you're one of the closest people to me, and this is what I'm going through.
Style by Stevie said, talk about it, have a discussion. Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Plain and simple.
Lady Muse said, you can do things to test friendships.
Nigga.
That's not good, Lay. We talked about that. I don't know if you missed that part, but the worst thing you can do is test your friendships because
that means that you don't actually know the other person.
Yeah.
And you may not truly know yourself.
Yeah.
That's something that you need to do.
And a lot of people don't know what friendship is.
Yeah.
So what you may do to test that person because of how they were raised or who they've experienced in the past could be an affront to them. You know what I mean?
They may take it I'll take it very disrespectful. You know, in situations with friends, you know, even recently what I dealt with and you know, in that other state. You know what I'm saying? And how they were thinking that I was gonna do X, Y, Z, and it's like y'all really don't know me after all these years.
It hurts.
Yeah, I'm hurt and I am angry right now.
Yeah.
But y'all don't know me well enough
to
know that I still wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Not that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but that in itself, that was the test. That was a test of your friendship, which no one should ever, boy, no one should ever be in a position where they're tested to prove that they are a friend.
When it's time to prove, it's just time to prove.
Yeah, and they'll show up.
As they say, what you know, the rank shows itself on the floor. You know, you can't make that up. There's no way to properly assign it. There's no way to eyeball and say, oh, this motherfucker right here, that one. Yeah, okay, bring. You know, you're there. There is no perfect way to do it. Don't stress yourself out with that.
No,
You'll hurt yourself, and you may potentially lose. You know, close friends. Something more than a friend. That'd be really unfortunate.
Yeah, because people do that same
because
thing.
of insecurities that you're going through, making you test somebody and all of.
Well, I think a lot of times, just like how people are in romantic relationships, they test each other because they fear losing. Especially if you know you got someone, you shouldn't have to test them. And this is another thing too. If they go, they go. You know, listen. This guy right here, he had to leave for a while. I cried. I was good. I was like, he's a grown man. He got to go do what he's got to do. Why? Because the last day I see you is like the first day. Ain't nothing changed. If I don't see you in 2 years and you pop back up, we start like it left off. It's nothing that changed. And it's like, my God, brother, I haven't literally physically seen him. Nate, if you're watching, I haven't seen you. And I thought about that the other day when we talked. But that love is still there. It never dies. It's profound. True friendship is profound. Lady
Don't read
said, okay. All right. We're moving on.
That's them.
Yeah.
That shit
Okay.
again.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so with that being said, so now we can move more into how do you fix a damaged relationship? If you feel it was worthy, it was worth something, how do you fix it? If you
too many unknown variables for me to really say that.
Okay. Well, let's give them a little bit of something that they could probably work on in some scenarios.
I'm going to bring it back to what I said earlier. In the moment, having the maturity, having the humility, or the ability to reach a certain level of humility, to step down from, you know, whatever position that you're standing on and say, this is something that's really important to me. You know, I understand everything that's happened and how it's played us out to this point, but I still see it going further.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe I don't see too much joy without this in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a certain level or you have to have the ability to reach a certain level of humility and maturity in any given moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it is an ability. It's something that you have to develop within. You know, you don't wake up overnight and become that person. But for anything that means that much to you, you need to have the maturity and the ability to reach that level of humility in the moment to say exactly what it is that you actually mean,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the circumstances, regardless of how angry or, you know, betrayed or, you know, whatever, so many different emotions that could play into that. You wanna mend that friendship or relationship, you got to be able to step down and be the absolute most primal level of human,
Mm-hmm.
and just say that this is what I want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if they accept that, they, you know, great. And if they don't, at least you know that you did the most human thing possible,
Mm-hmm.
the most honest thing possible.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much else you can do beyond that.
You were fully transparent.
Don't go waste your time spending money or, you know, trying to come up with some sort of grand gesture. I think that those are convoluted forms of reparation when a friendship or relationship is truly in the balance, being weighed in the balance. Spend your time actually coming from here and just let that person know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and if that's not enough, then so be it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no room for humiliation there, you know, no room for embarrassment.
Mm-hmm.
You were just honest and you were human. You let them know this is what I truly want, regardless of what the fuck we're going through right now.
Mm-hmm.
With you, this is what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Friend or relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would approach it. That's how I have approached things in the past.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's a sense of accountability, clarity,
Yeah.
and
Be as honest as possible.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you cut my foot off, but you know,
Well, yeah.
if I got you, you know, propping me up, I'm willing to keep walking with you. Whatever, however that fucking plays out.
Like I said, for me, I'd lose a friendship for someone not being fully who they are. And when I say that, because let me get some clarity on that. When I mean someone who's not being fully who they are, a lot of times people, my mom calls it projecting airs. They're projecting something that they're not in that moment to either rise above you or to make you feel less than them.
18 minutes.
It's going by, man.
That shit
I
flew
know.
by.
I
Go
know.
ahead, though. My bad.
For me, it's a thing of I want people to be all that they can be, as fully transparent and as you know, upfront in a sense, to be able to have that type of friendship that I'm able to be there and offer what's needed to enrich things.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people are more fearful, and which is why they don't engage in friendship. So when you meet people that say, I don't have any friends, that should be a red flag. You know, for someone to say, I don't have any friends at all, like you don't have none. Some of y'all out there dating somebody and they're like, I don't have no friends.
That could be someone who's absolutely terrified, and it could be someone who's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. So that's something you should be very mindful of. Anybody in your side of the neck of the woods got anything to say?
Now, you know, everybody's just been coming in and sitting and listening, man.
Yeah, it's a very serious topic, man, because friendship is something that a lot of us have either failed or succeeded at in some capacity. What I would like to say as well is you don't need a lot of friends. I think a lot of times people feel like if they have more friends, then they are enriched. And that's not necessarily true. Same thing with family. I got a lot of family. It's like, a lot of those people on your page of, or mode of operation. You know, if you have who you are, in a sense, if you have a streamlined vision of who you are, like me, I'm all about building and growing. I don't do well with mediocrity. I don't do well with stagnation. I don't. And I have met people who thought they were great friends. They thought, just happened just recently, somebody thought that they were a great friend, and I'm like, no, you're not. Because they think that they're a good person, and that in itself is an issue because it's like we're all shitty. We all shitty. We all got our issues.
There are no good men.
No, at all. And people who say
that's an old proverb, by the way.
Yeah.
There are no good men.
And when we say men, we also
That's
mean
humans.
women as well.
Just humans in general.
Yes.
We all got something about us that'll make somebody else go.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Every single one of us.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, the kids and animals is the line. That's the straw that broke the camel's back for me. So, I don't. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it. But listen, for me, it's a thing of understanding that when you give someone that label of, because we all live life with labels. There's different labels. This is my so-and-so. That's my so-and-so. This is my so-and-so. And as a friend, when you label someone a friend, you can't put that stigma on them that, oh, this person was a better friend than you. That's ridiculous. In fact, I had to grow from that because that was something that I thought I could use to be able to gauge, well, this person does this, so they should be doing that, and they should be doing that. And it's like, that's not a good way of looking at it. And it's different than what I'm saying to my guys, like, yo, she better be more than me. That's different. It's a thing of, you have two friends currently, and you're gauging them against each other. And that's horrible. We talked about that just recently because something happened. And I was like, that's like looking at him and saying, no, man. I mean, you're going to have different friends for different reasons. And people.
Nice coat, nigga.
Yeah.
You didn't think about me.
Well, it's like, what? It's like, no, that was that situation for them. When you have a great friend, man, going back again, you don't have to test that person. At all.
You don't have to test them, and you cannot effectively test them.
At all. That's
you
ridiculous.
cannot accurately test anyone on exactly, what's what in a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't even waste your time with that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I say all the time, I let people tell them themselves. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why waste your time?
Yeah.
Let people tell them themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely will.
So one of the things I can tell you guys to take with you is to make sure that person is who they fully are with you in word and deed. Word and deed. And Chase Baker, my boy, he's
a good man too.
Oh man,
cool ass dude.
Chase Baker. Last night he told me, like you always say, Choice, word and deed, word and deed. And shout out to you, Chase Baker. Thank you for coming through at the late hour, man. These people that do this. James is
very
Black.
much appreciated, man.
Oh man, dude.
Very much appreciated.
Rich friendships. It's man, bro.
Well, let's look. We got 5 minutes left before we call it quits. What do we say
About?
What's not even a solution here? Just some perspective moving forward.
Okay.
What would you say?
In regards to friendship?
Friendships, obligation,
well, first
morality.
First off, E threw something in. Let me say that before I go into it. In friendships, when one projects themselves as doing better than you, are they threatened by the...
Never mind.
Okay,
don't.
All right.
No.
Okay, for me, perspective, friendship, first off, I don't believe in obligations. If I do for you, it's because I love you. I want to do it. I love making you happy. I love seeing you prosper. I love, like Joan said, I love seeing you do well.
Yeah.
That's me in a nutshell. And I think people need to know the essence of who they are and what they're giving people. That's part of what I'm always with people about. Got to know, especially if you're a good friend, that you're a good friend. I mean, I don't think there's a day that goes by that I tell you, hey, I love you, you're a good friend. So for me, obligation is something that I work really hard not to have it. If I feel like I'm obligated when I'm doing something, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. If I feel like there's an obligation, and I listen, but those people are acquaintances. And one of the things that I always tell people, if I promise you, and you guys watching who know me know this, if I make a promise that I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. Come hell or high water, I'm gonna do it. And part of the but if I can't make that promise, I don't make the promise. I'm like, I can't promise you I'm gonna be there. I can't promise you I'm gonna be there. You know, because I'm an introvert. I love being by myself. I love spending time by myself. But if I'm not spending time with you, it doesn't mean I don't love you as a friend. That just means that there's other situations where I can be fully myself with you. You see? And so that's something that I've learned, that you can't, going back to what Alex has said, Alex, you know, that person can't just know that you're alone and just assume that you're alone.
Yeah.
You have to communicate with them. And that's another aspect of friendship.
Communication.
You know? That's a huge.
The willingness to let this other person know what it is that you're feeling and what you're dealing with. You know, you got to have heart.
Jones said, I have something to say to your audience. Speaking of friends, please forego that pizza or Panda Express or whatever and use that money to give these brothers a tip. Oh, Joe, I love you so
Thank
much.
you.
Can't wait to see you again soon. Yes,
thank
Joan,
you very much.
Thank you. And by the way, Joan, James and I had a great conversation this morning. I love that boy, man. I can't wait. He's going to American Ronin. I have so many friends who are just. Man. This guy sitting next to me is like he's There's a phrase that Susan Rogers said about Prince, and I was thinking about you the other day, and I said, I got to remember it. It's something about a creative, like you can't stop being creative. And what does that mean?
You told me that the other day.
Yeah, he was in the studio all the time. But see, the thing is you're so creative in so many other things that you do. And so it's not about, like for Prince, he was, always in the studio, but he, some of our friends, you guys need to call up your friends and let them know that they're amazing. Yeah. You're amazing, Joan. You're amazing. Antonio, I love you. I love you, Joan. I love you, Scott. I love you, E. I love all the people in my life. Shar, I love you. All you guys who are listening, who have been there for me, not just in the physical sense, but just to call, just to check on me. Jesse, love you. He called me today. He was like, hey, man, I just, heard about your grandma. And so going into 2023, I think this month you guys should work on what you want in true friendship. Not so much the expectation of what you have as what you think a friendship is. Yeah. Because people do that even in relationships. This is how the relationship should be. And you said it best, let it come to you. But within that space, know what you're deserving and know what you need to give as a friend. Man, what a show.
Well, listen, guys. I think that about wraps it up. Just be fair until you find fairness. Or, excuse me, be fair and you will find fairness. That's about as simple as I can put that. Don't go out searching, but, just keep being you. That's what my mom used to tell me. Keep being whoever your best self is. Continue to be that. And regardless of how many dark people you may come across or unfortunate individuals you'll come across in your life, don't allow them to change who you are, because there are other people who need exactly who you are.
Yeah, and it's a struggle to change yourself. Like, it
hurts.
Yeah, it does. So if that's the case, then you got to be better at vetting and kind of listening to what Antonio said about, being more intuitive and having that mindset.
Just be aware, Take your time.
Yes, Lay. Love is patient and love is kind, but love is also sacrifice. And, you have to know the type of friends you want as well. Like, you can't judge people if they have a certain type of friendship that they want. Like, people tell me about friends that they got. I'm like, That's what you like. I love it. If you like it, I love it. That's
Right.
cool. It wouldn't be me, but hey, I get it. You know, you have to learn to deal with people accordingly, and that's just the way it is.
No.
You know, that person's an asshole. You're a friend of mine. I'm like, yo, that person's an asshole. But that's very far and few in between that I'll do that. I'll say that maybe that person is a narcissist or something, and I'll be like, you need to be careful on how you're dealing with this person. But I don't begrudge that person because I don't know that relationship. Because people tell their side.
Yeah.
And-
What else they're supposed to do?
Yeah. And then you meet that person, you be like, but I don't see it. There's a lot there. You just don't see it. You don't know. It's like, okay, well, till we cross that bridge.
That's one of the things that rest in peace to this dude. His name is MF Doom. I won't say his actual name, but one of his songs, and I won't say the full lyric, it's the bits and pieces that were always very provocative, but he says there's 4 sides to every story, and if these walls could talk, you know,
Yeah.
that's the truth of it all. So
Yeah. No doubt.
again, integrity first,
Yes.
friendship before self.
Yes.
If you can't achieve that, maybe it's not time for you to be anyone's friend. Plain and simple. So, everybody have a good night. Thank you all for tuning in.
Don't forget, tomorrow we see you guys at 11 Eastern.
11 Pacific.
and
2 p.m. Eastern.
Eastern. We love you guys. You have a good night. If you got any questions, please hit us up and take advantage of things. So, yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Oh, man. That was hilarious, bro.
Muscles on his lonely pack. I stay calm and fat. I've been on the grind so long, hoes could never call me that. Please keep it short. I don't speak for all the rap. I'm your mechanic. I don't want no parts of whack. Keep throwing darts and wax. I'ma melt you. Every beat got a birthday. I just make it special. If you came to wrestle, well, maybe we can do that. Chapman, bring the dosage and show you where your shoes at. Exactly where the proof at. I ain't gotta prove stats. I don't need the hookup. I've been staying blue-black. Straight from where the
Love our color
news
scheme.
at. Life-size show.
Dope.
Story I survived. Made them live with most damn.
It matches well.
Yes, it does.
I imagine it. I'ma grope the canvas. Every stroke is passionate. Ask him why he smashing shit. I'm just practicing so I can get it in when it's out. Ain't no accidents, for real. Please stop the BS, for real is on
Oh, shit.
purpose, for real.
Down here.
I do this for real. I do this for real. Please stop the BS, for real is on purpose, for real. I do this for real.